Okay, let's dive right into a serious warning for anyone out there shopping for a used 2012 to 2016 Ford Focus. Look, if you're browsing the used car market right now, you've probably seen dozens of these things listed, and I really need you to pay close attention here before you make a purchase that could end up costing you thousands of dollars.
Now, you might be wondering, why do people keep falling into this trap day after day? Well, the answer's actually pretty simple. On paper, it looks like an incredibly smart, fuel-efficient used car deal. It's compact, it's practical, and honestly, visually, it fits exactly what a budget-conscious commuter is looking for.
But what buyers don't see, what's completely invisible in those glossy online photos, is the automatic PowerShift transmission waiting behind that clean exterior. Guys, this isn't just a minor hiccup like a bad oxygen sensor. This transmission is literally waiting to destroy the whole ownership experience with heavy shaking, terrible hesitation, and incredibly expensive repair bills.
It's the perfect trap. People see a nice clean body, run the numbers on that great fuel economy, and get entirely blinded by the extremely cheap price tag and the low monthly cost. They get so caught up in scoring a deal that they completely forget to ask the single most critical mechanical question, hey, which transmission is actually inside this specific car? So here's the absolute crucial point. If it has the automatic PowerShift transmission, that attractive price tag is actually a trap waiting to spring. It's cheap for a reason. You aren't getting a steal here. You're likely inheriting a mechanical nightmare that the previous owner is just desperately trying to escape. Now, I need to be perfectly clear here as a mechanic because we're not putting a blanket ban on the entire model line. The manual version of this car, it can actually be a much better option, a solid daily driver. But the automatic PowerShift is the one giving owners endless headaches. It's an extreme high risk. Listen, do not fall in love with the price first. If you take away anything from this explainer today, it's this. You absolutely must verify the transmission type before taking another step. Call the seller, check the window sticker, zoom in on those interior photos of the gear shifter, confirm it before you even drive to the lot.
Problem 1. The shuddering and jerking. Let's talk about the exact symptoms you're going to feel right from the driver's seat.
These are your major red flags. Picture this. You're pulling away from a stop sign, and the car just violently shakes. It feels exactly like someone is learning to drive a stick shift for the very first time, and they're just dumping the clutch. Then, that's immediately followed by a rough, confused, really delayed shift into second gear. It hesitates right when you need it to move smoothly in slow traffic. And here is where the manipulation happens. Some sellers, and believe it or not, even some uninformed dealers, will try to play off this shuddering. They'll tell you, oh, well, that's normal. That's just how dual-clutch transmissions feel. Do not buy into that excuse. There is a massive difference between the crisp feel of a healthy dual-clutch and a car that is aggressively shaking you in traffic. If it hesitates or shakes at low speeds, honestly, just walk away. A healthy, functioning commuter car does not drive like this. Remember, you're not buying a quirky race car. You're buying a daily driver. You should never accept the shuddering problem just because the upfront price is a few $100s cheaper. Moving on to problem number 2. Repairs may not fully fix it. Let's look at how this builds into an even bigger nightmare for buyers who think they're scoring a fixed car. A seller might confidently slide a thick folder across the desk, showing you that the software was updated. Or hey, maybe the clutch was even swapped out entirely. But look at this cycle. Owners repeatedly report that they go through the software updates, they suffer through the physical clutch replacements, and yet the violent shuddering just comes back later.
Having a thick repair history file on the specific transmission isn't a guarantee of safety. Actually, it's pretty much proof of this endless cycle. A fixed PowerShift can still drive horribly if the underlying issue wasn't, or honestly couldn't be, properly resolved. The fix might just fail all over again.
Problem number 3. Resale value and buyer trust. Even if the car manages to drive somewhat smoothly today, you're inheriting a transmission with an incredibly toxic reputation. The reality of the market is harsh. The used car world remembers this disaster. When you go to sell this vehicle in a couple of years, a massive portion of buyers are going to actively avoid your car the second they hear the word PowerShift. When they see it's an automatic, they'll either drastically lowball you or they'll just walk away entirely.
You might be patting yourself on the back right now for buying it cheap, but trust me, you will be forced to sell it even cheaper because the next owner simply refuses to take the risk. It becomes incredibly hard to sell. It's like trapping your money in an asset that nobody wants to touch.
Okay, essential buyer checklist. If you are absolutely stubborn enough to still want this car, you need to follow these strict mechanical rules exactly.
Step 1. Verify if it's an automatic or manual. Step 2. Never just test drive it fast on a nice open road. You have to test it in slow, stop-and-go traffic where that shuddering really gets exposed. Step 3. Actively feel for that jerking. Step 4. Demand real printed service records. And Step 5. Always get a Ford transmission specialist to inspect it before you hand over a single dollar.
Seriously, pause and take a screenshot of this checklist if you have to. Stick to it strictly. Do not let a freshly detailed, shiny car body trick you into buying a completely destroyed transmission. A pristine-looking car with a failing gearbox is still a terrible deal.
The final verdict. So what should you actually do if you're in the market for a 2012 to 2016 Ford Focus?
Here is the definitive diagnosis from a mechanic's perspective. The manual version? It's the safer bet and a potential buy, provided you still get it properly inspected. But you should completely avoid the automatic PowerShift unless 3 incredibly strict conditions are met. The price is practically given away, the service history is utterly perfect, and a specialized mechanic gives it the green light.
For the vast majority of budget-conscious shoppers looking for reliable transportation, the absolute smartest advice I can give you is to simply avoid the automatic PowerShift. Save your hard-earned money, spend it on something with far less risk.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought. Ask yourself, before you sign that title and hand over your cash, are you actually buying a cheap commuter car, or are you just volunteering to pay the previous owner's massive looming repair bill? Is a suspiciously cheap price today truly worth an incredibly expensive transmission headache tomorrow? Stay smart out there on the car lot.